In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a beautiful animated navbar using Next.js 13. So this is the demo of what you are going to build. So there is this site I've been working on and my team. So this navbar here, as you can see, it is looking amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to inspect to see the responsiveness. Okay, so you can see now we are at 1065, and as you keep on reducing, 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 and as you go you can start to see things changing, like padding. Okay, so you reduce, and at some point, as you can see before things at this point, it is still looking nice, and then you can see it breaks off. Okay, and we remain with now we have this Hamburger menu, we have this book now and the logo. Then we keep on reducing, and you can see reducing, you can see keep on reducing, and then at some point this button goes and it comes down there. If you notice, it comes down there. Okay, it comes down there. So this is really a nice stuff. And then the one you're going to be working on is this animated icon, or the Hamburger menu. So when I click this, you see that nice animation that is happening. That is what we are going to be focusing on actually today, to create this beautiful animation, animating this icon here, or animating the Hamburger menu, and it really makes a nice touch on the site. Okay, yeah, so this is what we're going to be building in this video. Thank you so much. Let's just dive in and see how we did it. And I want to remind you, please, to those ones who have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can just keep on pushing you nice content. And please give this video a like so that YouTube can really move this video to other people. I would be really grateful if you give it a thumbs up, and you also turn on notifications so that you don't miss any of my videos. Okay, yeah, so this is what you're going to build, and the project is on this and this one. So I'm just going to turn on this place where we're going to be running this project. I'm just going to simply stop this one. Okay, I'm stopping this server for this one, and I can close this. Okay, so the only thing I just want is the logo. Okay, I just need the logo, and after that I'm good to go. So I'm just going to go here, grab myself a logo, and I'm just going to put it in my project, this one. So I already have a Next.js 13 project. I'm just going to start this one. npm run dev. So this is a Next.js project that we did the pricing component in the previous video. If you did not watch the pricing component video, please do watch it. It has a lot of it has a lot of concepts that you can really learn, so just watch it so that you can improve your Next.js 13 skills. So I'm just starting this one, and I will just simply go on a new port here, and I say localhost 3000. So since I stopped the other one, this one should be the one now running. Okay, and meanwhile I'm just going to open public here, and I paste in my logo. Okay, so I changed this into SCSS, and I just you can first install Sass by running npm install Sass. It will get you Sass into your project. Okay, then step number 2, you can also change this inside the app. There is this global.scss. You can change this into SCSS. From global.css you can change it into global.scss. Okay, then from there we can just move on to layout.js, and in layout.js, instead of having global.css, just turn it into global.scss, just like that. And let's just go back again, and this should fix it. Okay, let's just wait and see. Just wait and see, and yep. Okay, so this is great. This is really great. So now what we want is, we want to put our navbar on top here. Okay, I'm just going to put our navbar on top here. If you want to see how we made this component, the video is in, I'm just going to leave the video also in the description, where we built this pricing component, this nice one. But in today's video, what we are going to focus on is, we are going to build this beautiful one. And I guess I should just simply go to a new page. Maybe I create another page whereby we can see it clearly, and we are not having all this other stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to come here and create a new route. Okay, just going to create a new route here. So create a folder. I'm just going to call it maybe about, and then inside I'm just going to create page.js, just like that. And I just say RFC, and just say RFC, just like that, and turn this into page, capital P. Okay, make sure that most of your components or even pages, the name of the function is in the uppercase. Okay, just make sure all your functions and even components, that the start of this function is capital letter. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to say this is the about page. I'm just write here h2. Okay, just write here h2 h2 about page, just like that. So let's just go here, and we simply say stroke, and I'm just going to say about, and let's see. Okay, so we have this about page, and it's really looking great. Okay, it's really looking great. Okay, so let's just see how we are going to put our component here. Let's just see how we are going to put our component. Now the thing we want to build is the navbar. So I'm just going to go under components. I want you to pay attention to the next following steps. Okay, so I already have here a folder of components, and it already has some other components that we used in our previous projects. Okay, I'm just going to simply go ahead and create a navbar component. So create a new file and call it navbar.jsx. And those ones who still have confusion of how to create a component, so you just pay attention. We might create one more component, or so just simply create this file navbar.jsx, and in this one I'm just going to say rfc. And if you're wondering how I'm managing to write that shortcut, just install the ES7. I've already showed you in the videos that extension called ES7. Okay, I don't know if I can just see it from here. I think it is this one. Okay, it is this ES7 React Redux React Native snippets. Just install this one, and you can now write the snippets like rfc, rfce to start the project. So I'm just going to write here the word navbar, and when you're starting your projects, just simply start as small as you can. Okay, don't start putting a lot of things in your component before understanding how you are accumulating them. I always change small pieces of my code so that you don't get confused at the same time. Okay, so for instance, I've created a simple component. I'm just going to put here the word navbar. So the only thing now I want is to connect this navbar. I would want to connect it into my app, more especially in the about. Okay, so in the future we're going to see we're going to connect it into layout, but right now let's just focus putting it in the app here. Okay, so on top here I'm just going to have the navbar. So I just simply say navbar. So I'm now importing the navbar component I created in the components. So you can see the nice suggested here. So click on it, and then it will be nicely brought on top here. You can see it has been imported from components navbar. Okay, and I've always also told you, if you're just naming your components, component names must be capital letters. You can see all my components are capital letters, and the name of the component is same as the name of the function that I'm having inside. So stay with those conventions. Okay, and now when I come here, you can see I see here navbar. Okay, you can see clearly here, you can see I have navbar here. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this into main. Okay, I don't know if this the page.js also is having main. Let me see. Okay, it is having the main. Okay, and even here I'm just going to use main. So let me just first close some of these files. That we have a lot of open files, okay, which is not good. Let me just first close this so that you don't get confused by any of these ones. Okay, so I want you to keep steady and following what I'm doing. So far what I've done, created the navbar component, and then I've imported it in the about page, and I'm just going to change this into main. Okay, just you can just leave it a div or a section, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I have my navbar and it is really working great here. So let's just start working on making things look fine. Okay, so first of all, I want to make the main to be fixed. So I'm just going to create the CSS for this. Okay, you can just go ahead and create all your CSS from here. Okay, you can just go ahead and create all your CSS really from here. It has no problem. You can just create it to be here. You can just go ahead and create it from there. I'm just going to create. I can create here. I feel like we should just move these styles. It is always good you just put the styles for your app. You can put them outside the app. I feel like inside the app there are a lot of things already, and the styles normally when you're doing a big project like the way we're building this one, you'd not want all your styles to be inside your app. Okay, so to my opinion, I just simply create a new folder outside here. So just create like styles. Okay, that is a folder, and then inside I'm just going to move this global. Okay, just simply drag it just like this, and then you see, are you sure you want to move global.scss into styles? You say yes. Okay, and of course it's going to break our app. Okay, and then inside here I want also to change it. This default name global, to me it does not make sense. I'm just going to call it main.scss, like the main SCSS, so that I can create more partial files that I'm going to use in my project. Okay, so I've named it into main, and you can go ahead now, bring it back in the layout. Remember, so in the layout here, layout.js, this is the entry point of SCSS or of CSS. So remove this. Okay, you can now just simply say dot slash, and you can move to outside. So you can just say dot dot and move outside. Now you go to styles, and then you just go to main.scss. So again, we have connected it. You can now again check in the browser, and things are still working the way they were. Okay, that is great. So moving on, I'm just after you have changed your styles, now I want to simply call here a new file. I do not want to mix my files. I want to create a new style for the for the application, or for the navbar. I want to create it alone in some other file. The fact that this one is already having a lot of styles, okay, is already having a lot of styles. I do not want to start tampering with these ones. So how I can do it is creating a new parser file by right clicking, new file, and I say underscore navbar dot scss. Okay, just like that. So after creating it, I can now just come and I import it in this one. Okay, I can bring it either on top here, or I can put it down anywhere. It does not matter, but let me just put it on top here. And how we import them, just going to put after this browser reset. So actually just put after the main here. I can see this where we have the header. Okay, we have all these ones, so we have to be style ours really nicely, so that it does not have any problem with any of these styles that we already have. So on top here, below here, I'm just going to import the navbar styles. So here I'm just going to bring in navbar styles. So how we bring them in using Sass is say at import, okay, and then you put space, and then you can say dot slash, and you can see they suggest for you navbar.scss, and you don't need to put .scss, simply just put like this. So all the styles have been brought in at this point. Okay, great. So now let's start the navbar. So I'm just going to close layout. I'm just going to close also this main. Even this main, the css. I remain with navbar css, and I'm just also going to go to components. I open navbar. So I have these two. I have the navbar.jsx and navbar.scss. So let's just start building our project. Okay, so I'm just going to close this. So you can see we have three things in here. We have the logo, okay, we have the logo, we have the nav links, and then we have a call to action. So we have three things in our navbar. We have this, the nav links, and the CTA icon, CTA button. So when I come here, I'm just going to change this into a header. First of all, I like using this one as a header. Then inside the header, I have three things. One, I have the logo. So this is link. Okay, get it from next link. So we are using the link, and then it is just like this, and then pass href here, and href I'm just going to put slash. Okay, and then here inside is where I have the image. Okay, so I have the image just like that, and you can get this image from next image. Okay, and let me just close it here. So the image has the source src from, so you make sure you put your logo you want to use in your public, and I have it here. So you can just simply say slash logo dot png, and then we can specify the width. Okay, so let's say the width for now, let's just try like I think 100, and then height, let's also try 100. We shall just keep on adjusting until it looks good, and then you put alt, and then here you can put the name of the company. This time the Jazz Africa logo, for, so give it the alt tag. So this is me bringing the logo here at this point, and then down I'm just going to put h2. So I'm just going to put 2 of the name, Jazz Africa, just like that. Okay, so this is the first item, which is on the left, this one, and then I want to put these nav links and then the CTA icons. So down here, after the logo, and I can give this one a class name of logo. Okay, and then after that I just have the nav. So I'm just going to use a real nav here. So in the nav, I'm just going to put here the link component, just like this, to put the links, and each link needs an href. Okay, needs an href. Let's say this one, I'm just going to use hashtags since I don't have these pages. So the first one is it home? Okay, let me just look. About towards our guide. So this is about. Okay, now I'm just going to, so you can just go ahead do this. Okay, so this about towards our guide. So just the second one is towards and the third one is our guides. Okay, and the hotel contact, so there is hotel, and then lastly is contact. Okay, and now next is this, the book icon, the book CTA, call to action. So down here, after this nav, I'm just going to write the CTA dot CTA, and then inside I'm just also going to have the link, link just like that, and it's like book now. Okay, book now, and then it has href, of course, and then I'm just going also to put a hash. This, you put a link to the book, to the booking page. So far so good, is looking great. Let's look at this in here. Okay, you can see this is how it is looking like, and if you look at the main styles, they're the ones which are affecting just like this. So we have no problem with this, because after all, I'm just going to make the navbar to be fixed. Okay, so after having this, we can just skip and style. We can just go and style this up somehow to look in line like this one. Okay, so I'm just going to come here. In my styles here, I'm just going to start with a header. Okay, so the header is the outermost, and I'm just going to give it flex. Just only doing that, it should just put them side by side. Okay, and of course align items center, align items center, and yep, and let's give it a background color. Now I'm just going to go back to there are some styles I put on top here, more especially the font, and here I have also the colors I'm just going to use. Okay, so I want to give this brown gray, so just copy this. I want to give the background color as that, so background, and you can just go ahead and give this color. Now if you want it to be you can see here, and let's give it position fixed on top here, position fixed, and we are fixing it on top 0. Okay, just like that, and let's also give it a width of 100%, just like that. Okay, so we are moving on where, by the way. So now after that, what I want to do is, of course, to make sure that I have justify content. So here we have align items center. We can justify content space between. Okay, and you can see that is good. Let's go ahead and give padding. Okay, so here you're just going to give padding top and bottom. Okay, we can give padding top and bottom. Now we could even use height. Okay, we could use something like height. Let me just say height. Okay, height, how about 100 pixels? That is, I think, is much. Okay, they just use padding anyways. So padding top and bottom, they just try like 1 rem top and bottom and 5 rem on the sides. Okay, okay, now we still have this here, this logo. So I'm just going to target the logo. Remember, the logo is the one that is having two items, is have this image, okay, and has this h2. So anyways, I'm just going to change this one also to 80 for now. I will keep on reducing depending on what we are having. Now let me go ahead, and this logo I give it flex. So I'm just going to go here and I say dot logo, okay, dot logo, and just give it display flex, align items center, okay, and you can also give a gap of 1 rem. Let's check out that. Okay, so this is already looking great, and you can remove all anchor tags. You can remove, so from this main you can just come down here and you can write, say, all anchor tags, you remove text decoration to be none. So this one is removing it globally, like from all everything, and it should take off all these the underline. That is great. Okay, now next thing I'm just going to do is targeting the nav, okay, and I also give it display flex, and I give it a gap of also 1 rem, and let's also give it align items center, and it should just now work on this nav. And you see we are starting to get in the vibe of this, okay, we're starting to get the vibe of this, which is really great. We are starting to get into the vibe. Okay, so next, I feel like this background color is so bright. Let me just try to make it more dark. So in the main, I'm just going to go here where we have the background here on the body. So I'm just going to change these colors. I want to make it now dark. I'm just going to say change this one instead to primary. So dollar primary, which is this dark color, and is going to change it somehow. It really looks weird. Anyways, maybe we just have it as the same. Let me just here put another color which is also brown. This one, I don't know. Okay, I think this one is okay. We can work with that. If you don't like, you can just maintain the one which was there, it doesn't matter. So moving on, I'm just going to work on now. What I'm just going to work on is these nav links. So if you go back to our navbar.jsx, everything is moving on great, but all these nav links, I want to show you how you cannot do this. So this, sometimes in the future when you want to add more links, you have to come here and add more links and do stuff. No, we can just put this one in an array and we map through them and we bring them here. Okay, now most people always have issues extracting a component, or how do you extract information from here. But really, if you look at this element or this link element we have here, it only requires only two things. It requires this href, okay, for it to work, and the name of the link. So there are only two things you really need from here. You need the href and the text or the title of the link. So now what I can just do, I'm on top here, I'm just going to say const, okay, nav. Now you can call them nav items, I don't know which name you can just use, is equal to, and then you create an array, and in this array we are going to have an object, and each object represents a single link or a single item in the nav. Okay, so the first item, as you can see, is about. So I'm just going to come here and I say, so it should have a title, okay, which I'm just going to say it is about. And then it also have an href of which you can call path. Okay, it has also the path, and for now we can put hash. Okay, and then we can do this for the rest of all the links. Okay, so if you just come here and put a comma, create 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how many they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5. We just need only 5. Let me remove 1. So the second one is, so we have about, tours, our guide. So the second one is tours. So change the title to tours. Okay, change the title to tours. Then put a comma here. Go to another one, which is our guides. Okay, put a comma, and then the next one is hotel and then contact. So here is hotel, and then lastly put a comma. So these objects are separated by this comma, and then finally contact. Okay, so all these are our links, and they are into an array here. Now you could of course also put them in some other file and export them to bring them here if you like that, but I'm just going to keep them in this file so that if I want to use it in any other project, I don't have to worry, the data is already inside it. Okay, so now I just come where you have all these items here. I'm just going to remove them, and I leave only one, okay, that I'm just going to use to map. So I've left only one item, so just cut it and put this, and you say nav items. So just going to say nav items and say dot map, and then we are mapping through all of them. So when I map inside here, I will have access to an item, and I can also have access to its index, and then I can just simply return, okay, return, and then I have this nav link. Now most people they forget first thing is this return. Okay, now sometimes actually it works like this one. When it is one item and I put it here, if I just copy this and I put it here, it actually works. But I like staying with this one, because all the time you may forget when you have, so get used to writing it in this way. You have inside here, you put a function. If you look at inside the map takes in a function, and you can see all this is a what? Is a function. This one is a function. So, and then we have this return keyword that you have to write. Then you put these parentheses, then inside you put your component. So this one you could call it to be a component, it doesn't matter. You get, this one can be a nav item or anything, it still works. Now after doing that, the first thing I'm just going to do, whatever it is there, the href, I'm just going to put item dot. So you can see they even suggest for you the two keys. Here is the path, okay, and then for the about is going to be item dot, and then it is title here. And then since we are mapping through, we have to indicate a unique key for each of the item we are mapping around. So just put key here, and then you just simply give it as I, just like that. Okay, just like that. It should not change anything here. Okay, so you see there is nothing that has changed here. And if you want to know something has changed, we can just come and change one of these items here, and now you see you have a nice interface where you can add or remove links. If you wanted, you can add another link. For instance, let us duplicate this one, and let's just say this one is blogs. Okay, so you can simply add a link and it will be nicely added onto the UI really so fast like this. You get, that is the reason why we want the map, because you have a nice control over your links. I can remove this, we don't need it, and you see it will just simply go as easy as that. Okay, so moving on to styling, let's try to style the app to look much more like this. Okay, so I feel like this logo, we gave it too much according to this one. So just go to some styling, back to nav.css. Now to the image, let me go back here. This time let me make it 50 and this 50. I see how big or how small. Yeah, I think 50 is perfect. 50 is very much okay. So let's start changing these things here. So the first thing is they see the color of the logo, and even the city here and all these ones, they have one color. So I'm just going to come here in the nav. Now since all the links except the other one, I can just come here in the logo, and I'm just going to say color is going to be primary, just like that. And if you're wondering what is this primary is in the main.scss, and I have these colors here on top here. You can just simply pause the video, copy these values, put them there if you want to follow along with me. So I'm just using this as the color, and if I just check now, here you can see it has changed also. And then even these other nav links, so I'm just going to go inside the nav here, and I say anch tag, and I say color, also make it this, which is primary, just like that. And you can see they have changed. And then finally, let's work on this one. And these ones on hover, we can make them to be maybe bold. We could change their boldness on hover, and I can also just simply do it from here and hover, just like that. Let's make color to actually just say maybe we change the font weight. Okay, maybe to make it 500, and then they just put a transition, or just say 0.5 seconds and ease. Okay, just like that. Now if I hover, now it has this this. You can just put any hover you want. Okay, you can make it as complicated as you want. I'm not going to make it more complicated. I'm just going to leave it as minimal as that. Let me work on this book button. So outside the nav, so I'm just going to minimize this nav. Outside the nav, we have this outside this nav here, we have this CTA where the link is located. Let me close this. So we have here .cta. So outside, I'm just going to say .cta, and inside here we have an anch tag. So I'm just going to first of all give it a background color of primary, and then I'm just going to give it color of brown gray. So this brown gray is also a color in the main here. It is here, brown gray. Okay, so moving on, let's give it some padding. So top and bottom 1 rem, on the side is 3 rem. Okay, if we just check now, you can see how it looks like, already looking great. Let's say text transform. So uppercase, want it to be in uppercase, and let's say give it a border radius of 3 rem. So you can just check any of these padding values, get the highest one and make it the border radius. It will simply round it smoothly like this. Okay, so you can see we are getting very if not the same here. Okay, we're just going to use this one. If you wanted to have this transparency you are seeing here, if you have a background like the image, like where I did this one, you simply come and give it some opacity. So you can just come here where we have this background. Instead of giving it like that, you can just say use RGBA. Okay, you can use RGBA and it takes in the color and also the transparency. So you can just say 0.7. So you see that it will be now starting to be seen through. You can see that. Okay, I don't want that because I don't have an image, but if you wanted it to be seen through, this is exactly what you do. You give this as RGBA. Let me put it back to 0 so that it is now 100%, not 0, really actually to 1, so that it is really not transparent at all. Okay, great. So you can see on the desktop, I'm really happy with the results on how it is looking. Okay, now for this hover, we can change the background. Okay, so this CTA on hover. Okay, CTA on hover. So I'm just going to say and just going to say on hover. So we can change the background. Okay, you can change the background color. Now we use brown. Let's use this brown, Dora brown, and let me see if this, yeah, there is some change actually. Okay, so you can use that, or you could just reduce the opacity, whatever you want to do. You can just simply also did the same trick. You could just get this and you put it inside RGBA. Okay, and then you pass in here the color, which is primary color, and then here on the alpha or the transparency, you put maybe 0.8. Okay, so now when you hover, it reduces just the opacity like that, and I like that more. And let's put a transition and say all, and you can say 0.5 seconds is just like that, and you see now it is so nice on hover. Okay, so moving on, this part is done, so it is looking great, and we can start our journey of making it responsive. So right now, if I make it responsive, you can see we are on we are still here. This is 1000 plus. So you don't need to follow the conventions of saying on what. When you're making responsive for such a kind of stuff, you really need to move the app by yourself and really see what is happening, and then you start working on it where you see it is getting ugly and it is not nice. So for instance, if you move right now, okay, as we are moving right now, you see it moves. When it reaches, for instance, on 930, it is still looking great here. So on 930 here, we can change the padding. Here we reduce the padding on the sides, okay, to create more space. Okay, we can reduce the padding of the header or of the navbar to create more space. So I can first write that media query. Okay, just change the padding. So this padding from 5 rem, so I can just say at media. Okay, just write at media and max width, and you have 930 pixels. Okay, at 930 pixels, really what I just want to change is the padding, not top and bottom, but actually on the side. So let's make it 3. Okay, to create more space. Okay, to create more space. So now if I just come here, you see it reduces and creates more space. So I move. Now you can really say at 800 something, let's say 850. At 850, you can really reduce it to maybe this time you can make it 2 rem or what, I don't know. So but I'm just going to write another media query. Now If you want it to look nice, you shouldn't worry about the number of media queries you write. The only thing you should focus on is making your app look as good as possible. Okay, so here maybe 850, we said 850, and let's make this really padding to be 1 rem. Okay, and this is the maximum we can go. So in terms of the padding, you get. So I'm just going to come here. If you just see now, this is the maximum padding we can go. Now if you continue moving up to something like 700 something, I'd actually just say 800, you get. So like on 800, this is the point you need to make these links disappear, because it is still looking nice. You do not want it to first squeeze them, okay, like that, and then you disappear them. You still need, when it is still looking really great, and this is can be a tablet, they are still looking great, and then you disappear them. Like at 800 is a good move, or 799. Okay, so you can just come here and say 799, and that is, I'm just going to write it in the nav. Okay, so in the nav here, I'm just going to write a media query at 7 at media. Okay, I'll just say max width, and let's just make it, we can make it 800. Okay, let's just say 799 pixels, and you see just display none. Okay, just like that, and you can see that. And to get a good picture at this point, you can see it has actually gone. So at this point, when it goes, we want to bring in another button, and more especially the Hamburg button. When it goes, we need to have the Hamburg button. Okay, so what I'm just going to do at this, let me just go and put a Hamburg button. So how are we going to create this nice Hamburg button that we see there? So normally people use icons, and if you want to make the animation that we did this side, you don't need to make it an icon, otherwise it will give you hard time animating it. So you're just going to use a bunch of span tags to make it, and actually, to be specific, we need 3. So I'm just going to move it up to this point, and I'm just going to go back to my navbar. Okay, so outside here, I just want you to put after this CTA book button. So I'm just going to put a button, a really button, just like that. And inside, I'm just going to put spans. And to be specific, each span is a line. So I need 3 lines, just like that, span. And I have 3 span tags. I'm just going to give this one an ID of Hamburg. Okay, so you can just give it Hamburg menu or Hamburg icon. Actually, just say Hamburg button or something. You can just give Hamburg button, just like that, to identify it very clear like that. So I'm just going to target this in CSS here, and you can just simply put it below the nav and below the CTA down here, and you say hash. Since it is an ID, you write the styles here, and the only thing I want to first focus on are the spans. So I want to give the spans, let's give them width of 30 pixels, and height, let's try to keep it to maybe 2 pixels, and the background color of primary, okay, primary, just like that. Okay, this is not how I expect it. They just write it properly here. Okay, it seems to want to miss 1. Okay, just like that, yeah. So inside the handbag I have the span. I'm trying to give this span just like that. Let's see if we can see something. Since there is the button, the span are not being seen. Okay, let's just try to give like height is okay. Let's make this one 50 to be match maybe. What else? Now for the background color, I want to make the background transparent. Okay, you can make the background transparent for this handbag. We don't need any background really. Next is, I don't want any border on it, just like that. Okay, border none, and you're not seeing our spans. I don't know why. Okay, I'm not seeing any span here for now. Okay, what I can say is let's just say handbag. Let me just confirm everything is okay. We have this, the button. Okay, this handbag, let me just make sure I have the same thing. Just paste it there. It is the one. Let's just first give it display flex and justify content. Do we need justify content? We need just flex direction to be column. We can also just actually align items center and also justify center. It doesn't have any problem. We can just do this. Okay, at least we can see them. Okay, and now I'm just going to give them a gap of 1 rem. See if that is much. Oh yeah, that is too much. Let's try 0.5 rem, and see. Yeah, that looks somehow great. Only the width of these ones is so much. Let's just make it 30 and see. Yep, maybe 40 or 35. Just try 40 and see how. Yep, I think yeah, I think this one is great. Okay, I think this is great. So you can see at this point we want this one not to be seen, of course. On the normal screen we don't want it to be seen. Okay, so we can just see on by default you can give it, instead of display flex, you can give it display none on the big screens. Remember that it was flex before we made everything. I'm just going to first copy this flex and then here I make it none. We only want it to come at 799. Okay, so you can just come down here and you write a media query. So I'm just going to write a media query at media. Okay, I'm just going to say max width of 799. I want to bring in this I want to bring it back. You get? So like by default it's going to be hidden. I don't want to see it, but the time this disappears, the menu disappears, I want to see it coming. Okay, you can see at 799 it actually shows up. Okay, and at that point we can first of all also work on our button. It feels like it is still so big. You can just simply maybe work on it slightly. Maybe we first leave it at that point, but it feels like at this point it is somehow big. Maybe let's target it like at what, yeah, let's also change it at 799 to be somehow more bit smaller. Okay, so just go under CTA. Okay, I'm just going to copy this media query here, and on the CTA here, we just only want to change the padding on different screens. Okay, just simply paste it down here, and what we just do is we want to change this padding. Okay, want to change the padding, and let's see top and bottom, is it okay? So let's just change this to point maybe 0.8, and this one let's change it to, and you see how it looks like right now. Okay, and then also the font size, we can also change the font size, and at this point let's make it 0.9 rem or 0.8 rem. See how it looks like. Okay, that is yeah, relatively, I guess, okay. Okay, depending on how you see it, you can just leave it at that point. Okay, yeah, and then we can also make it disappear towards maybe 500. So at this point, when it is still looking nice like that, we can make it actually disappear. Okay, we can make it this, when it is there, something like 600. Yeah, so at 600 I want this to disappear. So let's first maintain this to 0.9. Okay, and even this font, let's maintain it for 0.9. Let's see how it looks like. Yeah, much better. So I want it to disappear at that point at 600. So I'm just going to come here, copy this media query, and down here on 600. Okay, so media at 600. So just come here and change this one to 600, and at 600 I really want it to go display none. Okay, just like that. And now when I move a bit, it goes. So we just remain like that, which is really great. Now we can have as small as we can. And now, as of course, as we proceed to this side, now when it disappears, you can also just work on this logo, maybe make it more smaller. Okay, you can make it really more smaller at that point so that it looks really nice. Okay, now I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that, and I just want to work on the menu now. I just, because right now the logic of changing this button is really now working very well from the small screens, is really working very well. So now before we go to this adding the clicking and what, and you realize I haven't put anything like clicking on this button, but we have a lot that is happening. Okay, so after you have worked on those small things, that's when you think about adding the clicks and other things. So moving on, let's just work on the menu. Okay, so where is the menu right now? The nav items are hidden. Okay, the nav items are hidden on this 799, they are hidden. Okay, so right now let me first bring them back so that we can style them. Okay, if I just say display and I remove it, of course it's going to coagulate this whole place, but just be patient. Let's work while seeing it, let's work on it. Okay, so the first thing we want to do on this media query, first of all, is flex direction. I want to change it to column. Okay, that is the first thing. I want to change the flex direction to column, just like that. Now you see when you make it column, it is affecting the whole header. Okay, it is moving with this, and that is how flex works. Since it is having align item center, it will make sure it is trying to occupy all this area. Now to avoid this effect, we can actually give it position fixed. Okay, so that we extract it. So we can extract it, and let's just say for now, let's give it top maybe 80 pixels for now. I don't know what it will be, but let's first put at 80 pixels. So just giving it just like that, you can see it is somewhere here, and to see it very well, we can give it a background color. So let's give it a background color of brown gray. So just say brown gray. We have already seen this is our gray color, so give it like that, and you see where it is right now. Okay, so moving on, I'm just going to give it a width of 100%. Okay, and just like that, and you can see it there. And you can, of course, if you want to occupy this area here, seeing here, you can give it also left 0. So I'm just going to give it left 0, right 0, and then you can even go ahead and give it bottom 0, or you could give it height of 100%, just like that, 100 VH. So really, we do not want it, when you are seeing it, to be having anything else you are seeing. Okay, we do not want that. When you click on the menu, you want it to cover everything, and you have only the menu being seen. Now we can put, I think, on it a border top so that it can separate. Really, let me just say, if we can put a border top, maybe 1 pixel solid gray, maybe this. Let's just use RGB. So just say RGB A. Okay, I'm just going to put in the primary. Okay, let me just try this one, RGBA, and they just give it maybe 0.5. I don't want it to be so thick. Let's see. Oh yeah, so that we can see is the separation from the other side. And we can also give it padding. Okay, can give it padding, top and bottom maybe 2 rem, and on the sides, even if we give it 0, it does not matter. Okay, so that it pushes somehow slightly down. Maybe that is too much, maybe 1 rem. Okay, that is looking great. That one is looking great. What else? I don't think we need them to be, let's see. Okay, and I need them now. I want to put some sort of a border on these links. I want to put a faint border onto them. Okay, if I want to do that, I can just go to this anch tag. Okay, so remember, we are in this big here, this media query. I can just go ahead and access the anch tag inside, and I'm just going to give it a bottom, okay, of 1 pixel solid. I'm just going to use also the same RGB, so this one, and I will even reduce it more. Okay, RGB, and just simply make it this one maybe 0.2. Okay, just make it 0.2, and let's see. Okay, and let's give padding to these links. Padding to these links, and I just say maybe 0.5 rem. Okay, let's say 0.5 rem. Yep. And now we do not want them to be like this. What I can give them, what is they have width. What is missing is, I just want these ones to be not like this. Actually, we can even push them. I want them to finish, maybe we change what, display block. Do we really need to do that? Let's see. Okay, it is looking great. Even the hover is still there. maybe we just need the justify. First of all, let me just say justify. Okay, flex start, maybe flex start, I don't know, I just want to change them. And let's make sure we are in the media query. Okay, be careful when you're changing these things. Don't change them outside the media query, otherwise you will mess up all your code. And I can see actually I'm changing outside. Just copy these two lines. I do not want to mess up anything in my code. Just be careful. You can even minimize this, and you make sure you are inside the media query, just like so. Okay, otherwise you will have all your code messed up. Okay, it does not change much. Okay, so what I wanted is these links to be moving from left to right. Okay, let's move on. That is not a big deal. Okay, let's just move on. We shall fix that one. So we have the top. I think the top is really okay. If I just give it a relatively another color, let me just give another background. Let's just give it RGB, RGBA, and let's try this primary 0.8. Okay, this primary 0.8. Let's see. Okay, that is too much. Maybe primary, maybe 0.4. Okay, which one am I giving the background color? Let me just make sure I'm giving the right thing. Yeah, I'm giving this one. Let me first test it using like red. Okay, so I want to put RGBA. If I use primary 0.4, why is it not working? Oh, I think it is really working, but how about 0.1? Okay, yes, just stick to the one we had given it, which is brown gray. I'm just going to use brown gray, and I don't need to make it even RGB or anything, just like that, brown gray. Okay, so right now we are having it really at a good point. Okay, we have our navbar at a good point. Okay, we're having our navbar at a good point, and really maybe I don't know why these anch tags they cannot be what they cannot change. I wanted to, oh, maybe it is padding, maybe. Okay, so that is great. I can see here they have been given the line. Maybe that line maybe is too bold. They just make it 0.1. 0.2 looks like it is too bold to be seen. Yeah, that one looks great. Okay, that one looks great, just like that. Okay, so moving on, we can put them in the center. Actually, I think this justify flex that I can remove it and they remain maybe in the center. Really does not do anything with removing them wherever they are. But we can just give padding. Okay, let's give padding to this. On the sides, let's keep it at 3 rem, and I'm giving it to this this whole thing, and yeah, that one is looking great. Okay. Yep, so we have our nav bar sorted. You can see we have all these things flowing in really very well right now at this point. So right now what is remaining is putting actually the click on this button. So what we want by default, want it to be hidden. Okay, and when we click on this button and want it to show up, so the only thing is just to hide it, and there are very many ways how you can hide it. Okay, you can use a lot of ways, and first of all, I'm just going to come here to this nav. Okay, you can use display none. I'm not going to use display none. I'm just going to show you other things. First of all, I can give it scale. Okay, to hide it, I'm just going to give it some features, and I want to put them in one line, so that in one near each other, so that you see them. So the first one is transform scale. Okay, and let me first scale it to something like 0.5. So if I do that, you'll see that it will scale down. Are you seeing that? It can scale down like that. Okay, I want to first give it scale. The second I just want to give it is opacity. So I can just give it opacity of 0. So if I give it opacity of 0, it disappears, but in actual sense, it is still there. You see this mouse here, it is still like clickable. That means it is still there, however much it has the opacity of 0, but it's still there. So to remove it, we give it visibility. So you can just say visibility none. Okay, it's not visibility none, visibility hidden, not none. So these three, they can hide it. Now if you check it, nothing. Now it has gone, there is nothing. Okay, so now we want to click a button. When we click this, we want it to show up, and to make sure that it can show up, we are going to create a class that if we add it on the nav, then the nav shows up. Okay, this is the technique I normally use. So we hidden it using these three properties. Okay, we used the visibility, opacity, and transform. So I'm just going to copy these three properties just like that, and outside, okay, on the same level with the nav here, on the same level, just click on the nav. Now don't put inside the nav, don't create the class inside the nav. It should be at the same level with nav. So outside here, I'm going to create another called showNav class, showNav. Okay, so I will paste these three properties, and you can see I copied those three properties I used to hide it. We hidden it by giving this. Then we simply reverse back on the showNav. We simply reverse back this. So visibility, we make it visible. Opacity, we make it 1, and scale, we also take it back to 1. This is how we bring it back. So to show that this class works, I'm just going to copy this class, take it to a real navbar here, and I see if it brings it back. So here, I'm just going to come here and give it a class name. I paste it there, show nav. Okay, so after pasting it there, I expect the nav to come back, and you can see it has come back. Okay, it has come back, so it means it works. So the only thing that this button is going to help us is to control the addition of this class to this nav. That's the only thing. Want it to add it or remove it. That's the only thing. One. And to be specific, want it to toggle it. Want, if I click it, it should add it. If I click it again, it should remove it. That's what I want. So I'm just going to come here and create state. Okay, so on top here, after or before the nav items, it doesn't matter where you put it. I'm just going to go after the nav items and create my state const. Okay, I can just say I call it what, maybe show navigation. I don't know, you can just say You can just say show navigation or is navbar hidden. You get, you can just create here anything you want. Maybe just create another one. Show you're going to show is show navigation. Since we have already also have show nav, let me just call this show navigation, avoid the confusion. And here we'll be having set show navigation, and the long name has no problem so long as you understand what actually it means. It doesn't matter, and this name does not have anything to do with the functionality. Any name you want here so that you understand what you are doing. So it's going to equal to use state, is equal to use state, and we start it by false. So the navigation by default is going to be hidden. So show navigation starts when it is false, like the nav should be hidden by default. So I have show navigation and set show navigation, and I'm setting it to be false by default. Make sure that this use state is imported from React on top here. And the fact we have this one, we are going to get an error, and I can first leave it to happen so that you see it. You're importing a component that needs use state. It only works in client components, but none of its parents are marked with use client. So make sure when you use any React hooks like use state or use effect, you make this component or this page, you make it a client component. So what I'm just going to do on top here, I'm going to put use client just like that, okay? And then putting that, it disappears. So we still have this, and we haven't put any clicks on this one, okay? So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to make that button now do something. So we want to simply add this class. The only thing we want is this show nav class. If we remove it, you see that it is gone. This is gone, and this is what you want this button to help us, okay? So I'm just going to first of all control this class using the show navigation, okay? So what I want, if the show navigation is true, I want to show that class. So I'll just come here and make an if statement, and I say show navigation. If show navigation is true, okay, if this is true, I want to show this show nav class. Else I do not want to see it. Just simply remove it, and this is what this means. We are controlling using our state. The state is here. Show navigation and set show navigation by default is false, and that means like by default the nav bar is hidden. That's why show navigation is false. So here we have show navigation, and you can say that by default we are saying if it is true, then show the navigation, else don't. By putting only that, we make it disappear because by default it is not. So what I want is if I click, it should add that class. If I click again, it should remove it. Now what I know is people are thinking just like this. So I'm just going to create here this. I'm just going to create a function, okay, create a function saying, and this function I can give it a name, handle nav or handle navigation. I'm just going to call it handle nav just like that, and inside here I'm just going to set navigation. Now I know people just want me to make it true, just like this, and this will work for a time. Just when we click this one, it sets the navigation to true, but let's just see. So just come here to the Hamburg, and you're just going to add on click. So just say on click on click, just like that, and just say handle nav, just like that. And really that is the logic. If right now I come and I click, it adds it. And but now you say I click again, you see I'm clicking again, and again is not removing it. Okay, so if you want the same button to add it and click it, so instead of setting this to true, okay, we set it to be the inverse of show navigation. Okay, we make it the inverse of this show navigation. What this means is that it will first check the value of show navigation. If it was false, it will make it true. If it was true, it will make it false. So it actually does the not. It inverts the value here. It will find in this one, it will invert it. Now if you check again, and if I click, now it is adding and removing it. And by the way, we need to add some transition. So let me just go back here in the show nav. So go to the navigation here, and you give it, we can give it a transition. Okay, transition all, and we can put 0.5 seconds, and you can easy now. Okay, so now if I click, it does that nice animation. You see that? That is cool. That is really cool. I like it. So you can just do that animation just like that. Now moving on, and you can see right now actually everything is working. The only thing we are remaining with is this animating this the hamburger. Okay, that is the only thing that is remaining. So we also want to control this hamburger. When it is clicked, we want something to happen on these span tags. Okay, so to explain what is happening on the span tag, okay, if you check here, what is actually happening is, you see on a click, the middle span goes away, it goes to hiding, and then we just transform and rotate the first span and the last span. Okay, so stay with me. So what I want to do is I want to control it also using the show nav. Okay, I'm just going to use also show nav to avoid creating of really many things. So I'm just going to come here where I have the button, and we really have it here. So I'm just going to create a class outside here, and I say hash hamburg. Okay, I'm just going to copy this, and I say dot show nav. Okay, so if it has this class here, if the hamburg button has this show nav class on it, then that means we know that it is actually in that state. Okay, we just know it is in that state. So what I'm just going to do is I will have to start on the span tags. Okay, we want specifically to affect the span tags, nothing on the button we want, but only these spans which are inside. And we have 3 spans. Okay, and we can target them using the nChild by doing something like this, nChild, and there is the first one, this is the first span. Okay, and I can affect all the 3 by using this, the second and the third. Okay, so this is the first child, means the first span tag in the button. This, when I do something like this is the first child, this is the second, and this is the third, just like that. So this one selects the first span, this one selects the second span, this one selects the third span. In the first span, in fact, let's start with the second span by hiding it. So I want to say display none. This one, I want to really hide the middle one, and I remain with the first one and the last one. So I just first check if that one is working, if it can hide this middle one. So how do I add this class? Because we're saying this will only happen on the Hamburg if it has this class, so nav. So just come back here. The same way we controlled the here is the same way I want to control. So I'm just going to copy this and take it to the button here. Remember, the button previously has no any class, so simply just add this here, just like this. So want it to add in a show nav class on the button, okay, when it is true, and also remove it vice versa. So if I just right now go click, you see it has disappeared. Okay, if I click again, it comes back. You see, yeah, that is what we want. Okay, and let me just put also a transition. Okay, I'm just going to go in the span. I want to go in the span inside here. I want to give it a transition. Okay, transition or 0.5 seconds, also easy now. Okay, just like that, so that it's just going to be really smooth when it is disappearing. You see that? Okay, cool. So let's affect this second, the first one and this second one. Want to rotate them. Okay, so to the first one, we are going to rotate it. We first rotate it. Let me just go back. Where is it? This first one. So I want to transform, translate, transform. Let's first with rotation. So transform, rotate, and want it to rotate 45 degrees. Okay, let's see that. You can see it has rotated 45 degrees, and this down one want it also to rotate 45, but in negative direction. So I'm just going to copy this transformation to this third one, okay, to negative 45, just like that. Yes. So right now when I click, look at that, guys, look at that. But then they are not really where, that is not really X. Okay, we need to somehow translate them. Okay, want to translating is somehow moving them so that they are in the center. Okay, so that they can look really nice, like an exact X. Okay, so to the first one, I want to move it in Y. So vertically, I want to shift it vertically. So I can just first say translate. So to this first one. Now, if you have just have transform, you can add all the transformations on one line. Don't come and do something like this. It will not work. Transform, and then you say translate. For instance, translate Y, and you say 50%. Okay, something like this. Don't do this. Okay, just simply copy this translate you want to write, cut it, go to this first one and put space and add it there. It will work. Okay, you can add as many transformations as possible on this by giving space. So if we do that, it will somehow shift. You see, it shifted, and also want to shift this other one. So I'm just going to say also translate Y, okay, to this third one, just like that. And it is really just like you keep on translating until you see them really matching very well. Now let's translate them in X. Okay, let's translate them in X. So you can just add another one. You can just see, for instance, and for this other one, let me just see. You know, to just keep on changing the figures until it is okay. For this one, let's move it negative 50. It seems as if it is moved. It moved. Let me see. Yeah, supposed to move close to each other. This one moves a little bit down, then this one moves a little bit up. Okay, and it is starting to form. We need just to move it in X, and let me just say translate X, and by the translate is moving. Okay, translate is same as moving something, so you just move it something like 10%. Okay, let's see. Okay, you see that, and let's also translate this other one. Translate X, and you can say 10%. Okay, let's see. Look at that, look at that, and you can just keep on like really moving, but I'm really feeling okay with that. But you can move, let's move it like 15. Let's see, 15. Okay, yeah, look at 15. Let me just also move this one to 15 and see. Yep, and this is a real X now. It is really looking nice, and wow, guys, look at that, look at that. Okay, so if right now you are feeling happy the way I'm feeling, please smash that like button, and please make sure you have subscribed our channel. It has been great to watch right away when we started up to this time. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe so that you can keep on getting more content. Share, and you can also put on the notification bell so that you keep on getting reminders when I push a new video. And this, I'm pushing more videos every week, so that you guys, you can learn as much as you can. So this is what we have made in this video, and I'm very really happy. If we are to demo this from the beginning, you see everything looks very kawa. If I just press F12 and then I start moving right away from the beginning, you can see it is really really responsive. You get really responsive. If you see that, look at that, guys. You are having it coming, and if you click, it disappears. Okay, and then you have even that one disappearing, and even on the small screens, as much as you can see it still really looks really extremely nice. I'm happy for what you have done. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next episode.